Hi, Rock-afire enthusiasts. It's February 7th, 2020, and this is kind of a behind-the-scenes video that I'm sending to everybody, not just my premium subscribers, because I have a revelation from God today. Last night I went to bed sad that I had lost the whole week that I meant to work on second generation Duke, fighting, childishly with haters. It's just I decided I finally had enough, and that's what I did. And the biggest thing I was upset about really when I went to bed last night was that I'd lost my whole week, that I wanted to actually create the very first second generation Duke drumming sequence. So I thought about maybe I should quit. The reason I don't want to quit is because I'm still so young and so strong, and I have so much work still to do, and I actually know how to bring the Rock-afire back to the mainstream. And I don't mean you guys, the fans who already like the Rock-afire. I mean people who've never heard of them. Those are the people that I'd really like to reach with a brand new idea for the Rock-afire. Now, you guys are the ones that convinced me that the Rock-afire deserves another life. That Beach Bear and Mitzi and Billy Bob and those guys are cool in their own way. And so, and it has nothing to do with, whether they've got a head twist left or a head twist right, or a leg kick. None of that really matters. What matters to you guys, or to the fans, is that you love the characters. Even so much, you love them so much that even the haters who hate my guts love the characters and can't quit them. So, but you see, I don't want to live life the way I lived it the last few days. And so I went to bed last night and I prayed to God to tell me if I should quit. I have too many haters. I mean, lots and lots of haters. I would guess 100, with maybe 15 or 30 being very, very vile. And so I did. I just said, I'm kind of tired. I think I'll just think about this in the morning. And I said my little prayer, which I've told all my behind-the-scenes subscribers many times is what I do when I've got a mechanical problem, an electrical problem, a philosophical problem, a business problem. I always just say a little prayer, and I send it out into the cosmos. And this is why I have a strong belief in God, because He answers my prayers. Okay, so I get up today at the crack of noon because I stay up all night. And what's in my email, at the top of my email list? This message from Ray Edwards titled, "Love Your Haters." Well, the idea of that sort of grinds my gears, because how can you love your haters? I mean, that's like Jesus, right? I'm not Jesus. My haters will tell you that. Valentina will tell you that. So I thought, God, what message is God sending me through Ray Edwards? So now I'm just going to play the message and let you hear it. And then I'm going to tell you that I'm going to try and do what Ray Edwards has suggested that I do, so that I never lose another day of working on second generation Duke, fighting with my haters. That's a tall order for me, because I'm a fighter, and you guys know that. But let's listen to Ray. If you tune out, you may miss the most important message that God has ever sent all of us.
It's Friday, February 7th, and this is the Daily Ray.
Today's subject for the Daily Ray is about haters. We're back to haters. I struck a nerve with this, got lots of questions from people, both publicly and through DM, about how do you deal with people who are hating on you on social media? Well, first of all, if you're not making any impact, if you're not getting out your message anywhere, you won't get any haters. So if you don't want to get anybody who's critiquing you or criticizing you or defaming you, then just don't do anything or say anything or do anything of significance. You won't have that problem. If you're going to get your message out to anybody, though, if you're going to get your message out to the world and your message matters, just remember this: all powerful communication offends somebody. And some people will make it their mission to persecute you for speaking the truth. It's just how it works. They did it to Jesus. Don't expect any better treatment than he got. So the question is not whether or not people are going to be your detractors, be your persecutors, be your haters. And there's varying degrees. There's frenemies. These are people who are like your friends, but they keep saying critical things about you, and you wonder, why would a friend do that to me? That's a good question to ask. I'd pursue that with them. I'm just ask them, say, what makes you think it's okay to say that? See what their response is. Maybe they haven't thought it through. So there's frenemies, there's friends who support you, and then there's enemies. And they're not really our enemies. Our ultimate enemy is not a human being, because human beings who think they are our enemies are deceived. They're deceived. And we have to remember this. And we have to remember, we don't have to, but I recommend that you do this. The proper response to haters, real haters, who are really just spitting vituperous hate out on you, who are persecuting you needlessly, unjustly, with, like, you wonder, do they have anything else in their life to do? The answer is no, they don't. The proper response to hate is compassion. Think about it. If a person's time and energy is spent writing up posts that are about you or about your content, about how terrible it is, that is a sad, pathetic existence. There's something deeply wrong with that person. There's something deeply missing in their life. It's a cry for help. Doesn't mean you're responsible for helping them. Just because somebody had an idea they wanted to persecute you does not mean you have to respond with helping them. But it does mean that our proper response is compassion. Compassion to think, well, this human being is so broken, this is the only way they can think of to connect with another human being. The only way they can think of to connect with another human being is through persecution, hate, hateful speech, trying to cause trouble, trying to be a thorn in your side. And remember this, they think they're doing the right thing. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be a villain today. I'm going to be a terrible, horrible person and do something awful. They may even be thinking, I don't like to do this, but I have to. It's what's right. But the reason I don't critique people, I see things online that bother me, that anger me, that get under my skin. I don't talk about those things. Why? Because it does nobody any good. It doesn't do any good for the person who's saying those things. It's only going to reinforce their position. It doesn't do anybody good who follows those people because they already believe that position. It doesn't do any good to people who believe what I believe because we already believe the same thing. So the only reason for me to write about or spend time on focusing on in my content things that I don't agree with are incorrect reasons. They're illogical. What is logical, what makes sense, what is indicative of a whole person is to concentrate on your message, not on somebody else's. You have a message to carry. You have a point to make. You have something that you're supposed to bring to the world. Focus on that and don't be bothered by the haters. I know that's easy to say and harder to do. In the book of Nehemiah, Nehemiah has brought the people of Israel back to the city to rebuild the walls of the city. And his enemies, I'm just paraphrasing, so if I get some of this wrong, forgive me. And their enemies come and try to distract them. They want Nehemiah and his people to come down and have a council with them. So they say, come down from the wall and talk to us. We have things to talk with you about. You're not doing the right things. And Nehemiah's response is to look down and to say, why should I come down there and talk with you? I have important work that I'm doing. I'm going to focus on what God gave me to do. It's also worth noting that Nehemiah's men, as they're reconstructing the wall, they took the tools of their trade to reconstruct the wall with them, and they also wore their swords at their side to fight off the enemy. Now, we don't use swords these days to fight our enemy. We have a different sword. We have this sword right here. The Word of God is our sword. The Spirit of God is our protector. It's a perfect sword and a perfect protector. So if you have haters who are trying to distract you from your mission, first of all, concentrate on your message, not theirs. And for God's sake, don't give them a platform. This is a mistake I see people make a lot. Somebody starts a campaign, some kind of vindictive campaign against you online, and you spend all your time defending yourself on your platform. You know what you're doing? You're just exposing your people to their message. Don't do that. Don't give them an ounce of daylight from your platform. Don't give them any more amplification than they deserve, which is 0. Just don't do it. That's what they want you to do. Do not engage with them. So carry the tools of your trade, something we're learning about here at Sacred Work in Nehemiah 6. Is it Nehemiah 6? Lou, you're the man. Yeah, so it says, Now when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arab and the rest of our enemies heard that I had built the wall and that there was no breach left in it, although up to that time I had not set up the doors and the gates, Sanballat and Geshem sent to me, saying, Come and let us meet together at Happakapirim in the plain of Ono. But they intended to do me harm. This is what your enemies want. They want to get you to come talk to them so they can do you harm. And I sent messengers to them, saying, I am doing a great work, and I cannot come down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and come down to you? And they sent to me 4 times in this way, and I answered them in the same manner. This is your proper response to your haters who are trying to distract you from your mission. Do not. How do we hand off the hater that's standing in front of us? You step around them. And if they're physically confronting you, I mean, obviously you have to deal with that. But that does not mean you give them a platform. Sanballat, old messy self. Diana, you make me laugh. You step around them. There's a saying of the Buddha who said, When someone offers you hate, do not accept it. When someone offers you anger, do not accept it. If I offer you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong? Let the hate and the anger belong to your hater. Don't let it belong to you. Jesus taught clearly on this. He said, Pray for those who persecute you. Bless those who hate you. And he showed us how to do that. What if they own the platform? I don't even understand that. They don't own your platform. If they own the platform, get off their platform. Simple. Build your own platform. I've obviously stimulated some discussion. There's lots of questions about this. So for those of you on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, I have to read your comments upside down, so please forgive me for taking too long to answer. So when you say they own the platform, what platform are we discussing? Yes, Lou, Nehemiah, Buddha, Jesus, it's all here on Live at 5 with Ray. That's absolutely right. So if you have other questions, I'm really interested in this question about what if they own the platform. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. So somebody let me know what you're thinking about that, what situation you're talking about. If you can tell me the details, I'd love to know, because I'll have an answer for you. But the bottom line is, do not give them your platform as a place for them to spread their message of evil and hate. Do not pay attention to them. Do not come down from the wall and stop your important work to give your time, energy, and spirit to the haters. That's exactly what your enemy wants you to do. And I don't mean just your earthly person who thinks they're your enemy. I'm talking about Satan, your actual enemy. The platform I was referring to is our job, an opportunity to connect with others in ways that build community. We can come across those who feel like it is not a good way to spend time. That is a platform that is under somebody else's control. I mean, if you work for somebody else, you're under their power. You're under their authority. And you've placed yourself under their authority, so you have to respect it. If you feel that their authority is violating your mission, then you have to leave their authority. In other words, quit the dang job. When they control the people and they control the opportunity, the platform to spread good news is constrained. It can be completely ignored or stepped around. Yeah, but here's what cannot be constrained. Other platforms. Right now, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Periscope, all these platforms are free for us to say what we want to. Now, some will argue and say, well, Facebook doesn't want you to say this or that. Then move to a different platform. There's always a new platform. You can stream directly from your website if you want to. The internet has about 3 billion people on it. You can reach people. God will help you find the audience. He'll help the audience find you that needs to hear you. And Jenny, you're right. It could be Satan. Yes. It's evil. So don't be discouraged. If they own the platform, you own your own platform. You are your own platform. Listen, your message will make a way for itself, because your message comes from the ultimate source of all good messages, which is God. His message cannot be stopped. You can't bargain with it. You can't reason with it. You can't escape it. It's like the Terminator of goodness. So many people have joined since we started. I'm just going to give a quick summary one more time of what the message is today, and then I get moving, because I got to get moving because I got a talk to give. I was going to say a speech, but I don't give speeches. I give talks. I have conversations with audiences. The summary of today is, if you have haters who are persecuting, slandering, libeling you online, what is the proper response? The proper response as Christians, I believe, is compassion, love, because there's something wounded in the person who does that. Think about this one more time. Anybody who spends their time and energy tearing down somebody else's message online, how sad do you have to be, how pathetic do you have to be to spend your time doing that? That person is to be pitied and loved. Pray for them. It doesn't mean you have to devote your time to them. That would, again, be a way of the enemy distracting you from your message, from your mission. Don't let that happen. Be like Nehemiah on the wall when the enemies came to try to get him to come down and counsel with him so they could distract him from his work he's supposed to be doing. He said, I am up here doing an important work. Why should I come down there and talk to you? That has to be your response to your haters. Love them, pray for them, bless them, then forget them and move on. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Don't do what the enemy's trying to get you to do. Do what God told you to do. And then today's the day I speak at the Bethel Church Heaven and Business event. Heard Bill Johnson and Andy Mason speak yesterday. They were both fantastic. Met some great people yesterday. Our friend David Robertson is here. Our friend Steve Curdy and his wife Deborah Lynn are here. Love the people I see here that I know. Love the people I don't know, the new people. CJ says, if there are frenemies who chirp you online, do you delete them as friends? Yeah, because that's not saying I don't care for this person anymore, I don't love them. It's saying I'm not connected to them on social freaking media anymore. I'm just not going to let people occupy my channel with the message of the enemy. Bill Johnson once said, the only reason I listen to what the enemy is saying is so I know what station to mute, what station to tune out. I want to know what frequency to stop listening to. So stop giving them an input into your head. Don't let those people rent space in your head. So today's experiment at the Bethel event will be, I have about an hour, I think, to talk. I'm going to give about a 10-minute talk. I have some points I want to make. And then I'm going to just do Q&A. Because I have this deep belief that the mission of a speaker is to give the audience exactly what they need. And the only way to give them exactly what they need is to just ask them, what do you need? And then give it to them. Instead of pontificating what you think they need. That's my theory anyway. I'll let you know how that goes. Maybe that won't work out so well, but we'll find out today. And some people say, well, you just don't want to prepare. Believe me, you have to be more prepared for Q&A than you do for a speech you're giving. It's much easier to give a pre-canned presentation that has no chance of you forgetting part of it or not knowing part of it. It's much riskier to say, I'll help you in any way I can. What do you need? So that's the experiment today. I'll let you know how it goes. Oh, yes. It will be, I'm pretty sure it will be live streamed. If Bethel's not live streaming it, I'll stream it from my page if they'll let me. So be sure and check on the page. I speak at 11 Pacific, and I will try to do my best to make sure it's streamed for you on this here page. Good question, Lou. Thank you. All right. That's it. I'm done for the day. I'm going to pray for you. Lord, I pray that you would bless these friends, these souls, these companions on the journey. I pray that you'd give them a revelation of your grace, your goodness. I pray that you would bless them with joy for no reason, that you do more than they can ask or think or even imagine. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, guys. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 a.m. Pacific. Remember this, I love you very much and not in a weird way. Bye.
The Daily Ray, live weekday mornings at 5 a.m. Pacific on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and more. For more information, log on to rayedwards.com.